And now for the Sonic & Knuckles special. Good luck finding this story anywhere on the internet, because the only person uploading footage of this comic to YouTube decided not to ever upload this. So I had to resort to some drastic measures to get any sort of footage for this at all. This review almost never happened because of that bullshit. Anyways, let's just begin already. We start out with some narration over a desert and a beautiful dawn sky, giving exposition about the western coast of the great continent. They were too lazy to even give it a name. Still world building though. It's said to be prone to all sorts of natural disasters. I'm imagining that this is the Africa of Mobius. But it's also said to be one of the few regions on Mobius that were unscarred by conflict. Really. Where natives can have fun without care. And we see Hamlin and the red guy from Sally's old trainees playing beach ball. Why are they here? I find it very hard to believe that any one place in the world could have never experienced any sort of war. And I'm also wondering why these guys are here, instead of, in the Great Forest fighting Eggman like they should be. It does say prologue, so I guess that's the explanation. This is just a very confusing intro. Their beach ball game is interrupted by seeing Angel Island rising into the sky, because it had landed earlier for some reason. And we cut to the freedom fighters talking about it and wondering what's keeping it afloat. Why are they talking as if this is the first time they've ever learned about it when this happens long after Sonic met Knuckles? Wow, when they said prologue, they really fucking meant it. It's explained that the island's heading straight for Knothole Village. I hope that's explained later on too. Okay, so now they're reminiscing over meeting Knuckles. So why are they talking as if this is the first time they've heard of Angel Island? Am I really expected to believe that through all this time, Sonic and Tails never told their friends about their adventure on Angel Island until now? That's basic conversation. Hey guys, how is the mission? They can't just not tell them. And if everyone already knew what the island from the start, then what would be the point of the recap? Sonic says looking worried that Knuckles is neither for them or against them. And Sally complains that this makes them unpredictable and untrustworthy, which I have to agree with. While the comic is getting Knuckles' character a lot more right than the games today, he's sure as hell not likable as far as I'm concerned. Just seems like a jerk to me. The freedom fighters head to Angel Island, and their aircraft gets attacked, causing Antoine to say what literally translates to "damn then," or "darn then," and complain that Sonic said the island was unarmed earlier. Obviously, Eggman's landed here, and when Sonic shows up, Knuckles is shown hiding in the bushes menacingly, and we cut to Sonic lying in a field of white mushrooms that can talk. Wait, what the fuck? Is this an acid trip? I guess this is a fantasy series, and so crazier things have happened. Good thing these sentient beings have hands, so intelligence isn't completely wasted on them like the talking frogs. The really creepy thing is these guys want to eat Sonic, and all conveniently have forks and knives for them for doing just that. They want to eat what's clearly a sentient being? Huh? This is a very strange representation of Mushroom Hill Zone. Not to mention, again, they didn't even get the colors right. They're orange, not white. After Sonic fights a giant robot and complains about his day, he ends up falling down a cliff and finally meeting up with Knuckles, who says that he hates trespassers. Huh, Sonic calls people ugly as a sarcastic way of teasing them too. I guess Sonic wasn't being so different from him after all. After Tails tries to drop a rock on Knuckles and fails because he's not allowed to be useful yet, Sonic and Knuckles have a fight, but it's a really short one as Tails is finally actually allowed to be useful by saving them from falling into the boiling cheese below. Knuckles justifies why he couldn't save himself. He can only glide and not fly, and couldn't get enough altitude to save himself. And Sonic tells Knuckles that his island has been hijacked, using the sky as proof. He says that the stars are all in the wrong places, which was proof that the island was in a different place than before. How would Sonic know if the stars are in different places than normal? I guess he spends a lot more time than you think staring up at the night sky, to the point where he's memorized it. Does that suggest to his character, implying that he's smarter than you think? Either that or this is just a really contrived, last-minute method of getting Knuckles to stop fighting Sonic for now. I don't understand why they couldn't just have had one of Eggman's aircrafts gone by. The same ones that try to attack the freedom fighters. Sonic could have at least told Knuckles about that, whether or not he believed him. Why do you lie about that? Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles go down a convenient underground chute on their way to the Emerald. I'm really glad Tails is here, by the way. Sonic getting to spend quality time with his little brother again. and it's revealed that energy is being siphoned from the emerald, and Knuckles gets shocked touching it. I wonder if that's going to incapacitate him like it did in the actual game. We then see a hologram of Robotnik's head being projected to greet everyone and boast about his finding the emerald. Maybe Knuckles should have buried it or something rather than hiding it under a chute with a very obvious sign on it. Eggman brags that he tunneled through the island to put engines and stuff in it to make it into a flying fortress for himself that he could steer to wherever he chooses. This is a really cool concept. A way of actually using Angel Island being a floating island, rather than that just being there for decoration like in the games. Naturally, he plans on flying it to the Great Forest to destroy it, since destroying the Great Forest would destroy Knothole wherever it is. And Sonic has to stop him. Of course, Knuckles breaks the emerald into pieces in an attempt to make it stop doing its thing, and says that without the Chaos Emerald, they still haven't learned yet? Anyways, this should cause the island to fall back down. If victory was so easy for them upon just getting here, why was Robotnik boasting and gloating at them being there instead of going, "Oh crap!" Well, that's because either way this accomplishes his plan, as it's still heading towards Knothole. And Eggman brags that now it'll be destroyed with him having to fire a single shot. However, another Chaos Emerald appears magically, and Sonic's thankfully confused by this. The only explanation given is that Knuckles says he always carries a spare. Okay, so this is definitely supposed to be that regular old Chaos Emeralds control the island floating right now, because he can just replace one Master Emerald with another. God, the early installment weirdness in this. That still doesn't explain why the other emeralds just magically appeared with a pop sound though. I was kind of expecting Knuckles to explain that he can use his guardian powers to magic up a new Master Emerald whenever he wanted by this point. That would have been a real Deus Ex Machina. No, instead the day is saved by a perfectly acceptable, if very convenient solution. Knuckles goes all over his island just for fun. It's perfectly plausible that he runs to another Chaos Emerald along the way. And Sonic leaves the island by Tails single-handedly carrying him while flying all the way back to the Freedom Fighters. Whoa! Tails' flight capacity is amazing! He can fly all that way without getting tired. Sonic explains to Sally that he's left it to Knuckles to get rid of all of Robotnik's accessories. Presumably with his drilling in the ground power that Sonic isn't supposed to know about yet. Aww, teamwork! I'm not sure why Sonic's talking to her as if she already knows about Robotnik adding machinery to Angel Island to let him drive it, though. You'd think she'd be like, what are you talking about? After Sonic denies that Knuckles will join the Freedom Fighters because Knuckles is an antisocial jerk, we have another story where Knuckles hears an explosion on his island and wants to see what's going on. Wait, preschool? How is someone who spent their whole life isolated on an island, growing up in a culture that I doubt would have a modern concept like preschool, even know what preschool is? While talking tough and acting arrogant, making me wonder why some Knuckles fans think Knuckles being arrogant to generations in Lost World is a betrayal to his original character. Knuckles spends this story on a wild goose chase trying to search for whoever's made a noise on his island. I don't understand why Knuckles is still acting like Sonic's his mortal enemy and he's furious at him showing up, when Sonic's clearly not doing anything wrong. This is why I don't like Knuckles. He's a jerk. An antisocial jerk. Sonic does nothing but help him, and Knuckles acts like they're sworn enemies. Needless to say, I don't really like this particular story since it's nothing but Knuckles storming the island like a paranoid jerk acting like he hates Sonic. And it ends with the guy who set Knuckles off revealing that he just did it to mess with him or something. And it's never explained who or what caused the explosion in the first place. Did Eggman cause it? Why isn't he here? And then there's another story, and this time we see that there's people other than Knuckles living on Angel Island. Because bullshit, that's why. And Knuckles suddenly switches from an antisocial jerk to a gallant, chivalrous knight willing to help a baby kangaroo, just because. I guess this is supposed to show us he has a soft side finally. And I like this Knuckles, but not the one I just saw earlier. The kangaroo tells him that Knuckles is actually well known by the people living on the island with him, as someone who protects them and watches over them. This is certainly a departure from the game's canon, that's for sure. Knuckles explains at one point that since the island floats along air currents, as opposed to, floating because of its emerald, the wind rarely blows stronger than a mild breeze. Because, we all know how non-windy it is really high up in the sky. Just say it's a magical place. Don't try to science it away with fake science. Knuckles points out that things have been changing lately. But of course he won't delve any deeper into that because that'd be interesting, and fuck that. Then the baby kangaroo, who was surprisingly good at talking for a baby, has his mother return and thank Knuckles for watching him. Okay, while it is good that this shows Knuckles' soft side, I can't help but feel like it's completely worthless filler, though not as much as the short story right before it. This story was written by Ken Penders. Well, no surprise there, it's about echidnas. The only part of the issue worth talking about is the main story, which I really like, mainly because of the cool concept of Eggman using Angel Island as a flying fortress to destroy Knothole. Although it being solved in just one issue before it can inconvenience the heroes in any way feels kind of like an underwhelming waste of a concept. But at least it was used. And I really liked how Tails was brought along for the ride, having Sonic spending quality time with his brother again. And it worked out for him since Tails ended up saving Sonic's life. Sure, it's convenient that he was arbitrarily brought here, instead of being told to stay home because it's too dangerous as usual. Like when Sonic was looking for the underwater Freedom Emerald, and lectured Tails for being with him because he brought him with him by accident. I got nothing out of Knuckles fighting Sonic though, which sucks in a story called Sonic and Knuckles. His weird hatred of Sonic just comes off to me as him being a paranoid antisocial jerk. At least explain it as he's jealous of Sonic. It was convenient in Knuckles to be able to save the day with a spare emerald, so he did something at least, even if that was an anticlimactic and overly easy solution to Eggman's plan. And Mushrooms wanting to eat Sonic just came out of nowhere. What was that? But in general, I enjoyed the story well enough. I liked Tails being there, and it had a great concept for Eggman's plan. Next up is issue 25. Are we finally going to be able to spend more than one issue in the main comic in a row? Tune in next time to find out.